Welcome to Chatbotcasts, and thank you for tuning in to our discussion on green tech in Scandinavia. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting an expert in the field of green technology. Let's start with an icebreaker question. What sparked your interest in green technology, and how did you become involved in this field?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. My interest in green technology really began when I was studying environmental science and economics. I was fascinated by the concept that you don't have to choose between economic growth and environmental protection. They can actually go hand in hand. This idea is perfectly exemplified in the Nordic countries, where they've made significant strides in decoupling greenhouse gas emissions from economic growth. Let me think. One of the key moments that sparked my interest was learning about how Norway, for instance, generates almost all of its electricity from hydropower. Similarly, Sweden and Iceland are heavily reliant on hydropower and geothermal energy, respectively. Denmark, on the other hand, has become a global leader in wind power, with a substantial portion of its energy coming from wind turbines, bioenergy, and solar photovoltaic. Seeing these countries not only reduce their carbon footprint, but also create jobs and boost their economies through green technologies was incredibly inspiring. For example, Denmark's leadership in wind energy has created thousands of jobs and strengthened its economy, making the wind power sector a significant part of their exports. This holistic approach to energy use, where both the source and the efficiency of consumption are prioritized, has been incredibly successful in the Nordic region. It's a model that other countries can learn from, and it's what drew me deeper into the field of green technology.
That's really insightful. Thank you for sharing that. Let's dive a bit deeper into the current state of green tech in Scandinavia. Can you provide an overview of the Nordic countries' commitment to climate neutrality and their progress in reducing greenhouse gas emissions so far?
The countries' commitment to climate neutrality and their progress in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The Nordic countries have set some of the most ambitious climate goals globally. For instance, Norway aims to be carbon neutral by 2030, which involves balancing out any unavoidable greenhouse gas emissions with equivalent carbon offsets, such as investing in renewable energy projects abroad. Denmark has set a target to source its entire energy mix from renewable sources by 2030, which is predicted to result in a 75% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. Finland is aiming for carbon neutrality by 2035, and Sweden has set a target of reaching net zero emissions by 2045. These countries have made significant progress already. The carbon intensity of Nordic electricity is remarkably low, at under 60 GGCO2 kWh, which is only about 8% of the global average. This is largely due to their heavy reliance on renewable energy sources such as hydropower, wind power, and geothermal energy. In addition to these renewable energy sources, the Nordics have also focused on energy efficiency. Innovations in low-energy construction, district heating systems, and energy-efficient industrial processes have significantly reduced their carbon footprint. For example, district heating schemes in Denmark and Sweden now provide over half of Sweden's heating needs, using surplus heat from industrial processes and integrating bioenergy. It's interesting to note that while these countries are making strides in reducing emissions, they are also ensuring that these efforts contribute to economic growth and job creation. The green technology sector, particularly in areas like wind energy and bioenergy, has created thousands of jobs and boosted exports, demonstrating that environmental responsibility and economic advancement can indeed coexist.
That's a great overview of the Nordic countries' commitment to climate neutrality and their progress so far. Let's dive a bit deeper into some specific innovations. What are some of the most significant green tech projects currently underway in northern Sweden, such as the HYBRIT project or initiatives like Hydromesh, and how are they transforming the energy sector?
Let's dive into some of the significant green tech projects currently underway in northern Sweden, as these are really transformative for the energy sector. One of the most notable projects is the HYBRIT initiative, which stands for Hydrogen Breakthrough Iron Making Technology. This project is a collaboration between SSAB, LKB, and Vattenfall, aiming to replace fossil fuels with hydrogen in the steel production process. This is a game changer because steel production is one of the most energy-intensive and carbon-heavy industries. By using green hydrogen, HYBRIT is working towards producing fossil-free steel, which could significantly reduce CO2 emissions in this sector. Another interesting initiative, though not specifically mentioned as hydromesh, is the focus on green hydrogen production itself. Companies like Dynelectro, which I mentioned earlier, are working on improving the efficiency of green hydrogen production. This is crucial because green hydrogen can be used not only in steel production but also in transportation, power generation, and other industrial processes, further reducing the reliance on fossil fuels. In addition, there are several startups and projects focused on sustainable materials and energy efficiency. For example, companies like Risello and Green14 are innovating in sustainable materials and silicon extraction using green hydrogen, which reduces emissions and promotes a more circular economy. These projects are not just about reducing emissions, they're also about creating new industries and jobs. The Nordic approach to green tech is holistic, ensuring that these innovations contribute to both environmental protection and economic growth. It's fascinating to see how these initiatives are transforming the energy sector and setting a precedent for sustainable development globally.
Let's focus on some of the innovative startups in the Nordic region. Can you tell us about some of the startups like ClimateView and how their technologies are helping cities and municipalities achieve their climate neutrality goals?
Let's focus on some of the innovative startups in the Nordic region, particularly those that are making a significant impact on climate neutrality goals for cities and municipalities. One standout example is ClimateView, a Swedish startup that has developed a platform to help cities and municipalities track, analyze, and act on their climate data. This platform is incredibly powerful because it provides a comprehensive view of a city's carbon footprint, allowing local governments to set realistic targets and implement effective strategies to reduce emissions. For instance, ClimateView's technology helps cities identify areas where they can improve energy efficiency, transition to renewable energy sources, and implement sustainable transportation solutions. By providing actionable insights, ClimateView enables cities to make data-driven decisions that align with their climate goals. Another area where Nordic startups are excelling is in the bioeconomy sector. Companies like those involved in the bioeconomy arena in Örnsköldsvik are working on the industrialization and commercialization of new bio-based technologies. These innovations are crucial for reducing dependence on fossil fuels and promoting sustainable land use practices. It's interesting to note that these startups are often supported by robust government policies and investments in research and innovation. For example, the Swedish government's backing of research and innovation in green technologies has been instrumental in the growth of these startups. This support not only fosters innovation, but also ensures that these new technologies contribute to both environmental protection and economic growth. Overall, these startups are at the forefront of the green transition in the Nordic region, providing innovative solutions that help cities and municipalities achieve their climate neutrality goals while also driving economic development.
Given ClimateView and other Nordic startups, let's delve into the challenges they might be facing and the future outlook for these innovations. What are some of the challenges that these green tech startups, such as ClimateView, are currently facing in terms of implementation and scalability, and how are they addressing these challenges?
When it comes to the challenges faced by green tech startups like ClimateView, there are several key areas to consider. Firstly, one of the main challenges is scalability. While these startups have developed innovative solutions, scaling these technologies to meet the needs of larger cities and municipalities can be complex. For instance, ClimateView's platform needs to be adaptable to different city infrastructures and data systems, which can be a significant technical hurdle. Another challenge is the integration of new technologies into existing systems. Many cities have legacy systems that need to be updated or replaced to fully utilize the benefits of green tech innovations. This can be a time-consuming and costly process, requiring significant investment in both technology and training for municipal employees. Additionally, there's the issue of funding. While government support is crucial, securing consistent and sufficient funding can be a challenge. Startups often rely on a mix of public grants, private investments, and partnerships to sustain their operations and drive innovation. To address these challenges, many of these startups are forming strategic partnerships with local governments, other tech companies, and research institutions. For example, ClimateView collaborates closely with municipal authorities to tailor their platform to specific city needs, ensuring a smoother integration process. Moreover, the Nordic governments are playing a vital role by providing supportive policies and investments in research and innovation. This not only helps in securing funding, but also fosters a collaborative environment where startups can thrive. In terms of the future outlook, it's quite promising. As more cities and municipalities set ambitious climate goals, the demand for innovative green tech solutions is increasing. The Nordic region, with its strong focus on sustainability and innovation, is well positioned to lead this global transition. With continued support and collaboration, these startups are likely to play a critical role in achieving climate neutrality and driving sustainable development globally.
Given for green tech startups, how do policy changes, such as those in Sweden, impact the development and scalability of these innovative technologies? For instance, what role do initiatives like HYBRIT play in addressing some of these challenges?
Policy changes in countries like Sweden are instrumental in the development and scalability of green tech innovations. Let's break it down. Firstly, supportive policies and investments in research and innovation create a fertile ground for these startups to grow. For instance, the Swedish government's backing of research and innovation in green technologies has been crucial for the growth of companies like ClimateView. These policies often include feed-in tariffs, tax incentives, and grants that help startups secure the funding they need to scale their operations. Initiatives like the ones in northern Sweden, such as the HYBRIT project and the bioeconomy arena, are excellent examples of how policy support can drive innovation. The HYBRIT initiative, for example, is a collaborative effort between industry leaders and government-backed research institutions aiming to produce fossil-free steel using green hydrogen. This kind of collaboration ensures that the technological advancements are not only environmentally beneficial, but also economically viable. Regarding initiatives like HYBRIT, although it wasn't specifically mentioned in the context of current projects, the concept of such initiatives is important. Any project that focuses on integrating new technologies into existing systems, such as smart grids or efficient energy distribution networks, can significantly address the challenges of scalability and integration. These initiatives help in creating a cohesive and efficient infrastructure that can support the widespread adoption of green technologies. In Sweden, regional authorities have developed and implemented green growth policies that stimulate both the decarbonization of public activities and the greening of existing industries. For example, the use of biogas in the transport sector in Skåne is closely linked to traditional agricultural and waste management industries, showing how policy can drive innovation within established sectors. Overall, these policy changes and initiatives create an ecosystem that supports innovation, scalability, and the integration of green technologies, making it easier for startups to overcome the challenges they face and contribute to a sustainable future.
Given the importance of policy support and innovative initiatives, how do you see the Nordic countries' collaboration, as highlighted in projects like the Nordic Stocktake and Visions, Pathways to Climate Neutrality, contributing to a faster and more unified green transition across the region?
The Nordic countries' collaboration, as seen in initiatives like the Nordic Stocktake and Visions, Pathways to Climate Neutrality, is a crucial factor in driving a faster and more unified green transition across the region. This collaborative approach allows the Nordic countries to share best practices, pool resources and leverage each other's strengths to achieve common climate goals. For instance, the Nordic model of recognizing green technologies as both environmental tools and economic drivers has been highly effective. By working together, these countries can accelerate the development and implementation of innovative solutions. The HYBRIT project, for example, is a collaborative effort between Swedish companies and government-backed research institutions, showcasing how joint initiatives can lead to groundbreaking innovations like fossil-free steel production. Moreover, the regional authorities' green growth policies, as highlighted in the Gonst project, demonstrate how coordinated efforts can stimulate both the decarbonization of public activities and the greening of existing industries. This holistic approach ensures that the transition to a green economy is not just environmentally beneficial, but also economically sustainable. The sharing of knowledge and resources also helps in addressing common challenges. For example, Denmark's expertise in wind energy and Sweden's advancements in bioenergy and district heating systems can be shared and adapted across the region, facilitating a more unified and efficient transition. In summary, the Nordic countries' collaborative efforts are creating a synergistic effect that enhances their individual capabilities, leading to a faster and more cohesive green transition. This model of cooperation is not only beneficial for the region, but also serves as a valuable example for other countries aiming to achieve climate neutrality.
Given the collaborative efforts and innovative projects you've mentioned, what final thoughts or advice would you like to share with our listeners who are interested in green tech and its potential to drive sustainable development globally?
As we wrap up this discussion on green tech in Scandinavia, I want to emphasize the importance of collaboration, innovative policies, and a holistic approach to sustainability. The Nordic countries have set a remarkable example by demonstrating that environmental responsibility and economic growth are not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary. For those interested in green tech and its potential to drive sustainable development globally, my advice would be to look closely at the Nordic model. It's crucial to recognize that green technologies are not just environmental tools, but also economic drivers that can create jobs and diversify economies. Supportive policies and investments in research and innovation are key. Governments, startups, and industries need to work together to create an ecosystem that fosters innovation and scalability. Initiatives like HYBRIT, the bioeconomy arena, and ClimateView's platform are excellent examples of how collaboration can lead to groundbreaking innovations. It's also important to focus on energy efficiency and the integration of new technologies into existing systems. District heating systems, for instance, have been incredibly successful in reducing carbon emissions in the Nordic region. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of sharing knowledge and best practices. The Nordic countries' collaborative efforts show that when regions work together, they can achieve far more than they could alone. For anyone looking to get involved in green tech, whether as an entrepreneur, researcher, or policymaker, I would say stay curious, stay collaborative, and always keep the bigger picture in mind. The transition to a sustainable future is a collective effort, and every contribution counts. The Nordic region's journey is a testament to what can be achieved when we work together towards a common goal.
Given the emphasis on collaboration and innovative policies, how do you think the Nordic countries can inspire and influence other regions globally to adopt similar green tech strategies and achieve their own climate neutrality goals?
The unique ability to inspire and influence other regions globally through their exemplary approach to green tech and climate neutrality. One of the key ways they can do this is by sharing their success stories and best practices. For instance, the Nordic model of decoupling greenhouse gas emissions from economic growth is a powerful example that other countries can learn from. By showcasing projects like HYBRIT, which is revolutionizing the steel industry with fossil-free production, and initiatives like ClimateView, which helps cities track and reduce their carbon footprint, the Nordics can demonstrate the tangible benefits of green technologies. These projects not only reduce emissions, but also create jobs and boost local economies, making them highly attractive to other regions. Another important aspect is the collaborative nature of the Nordic approach. The way these countries work together, share knowledge, and pool resources can be a blueprint for other regions. For example, the Nordic Stocktake and Vision's Pathways to Climate Neutrality initiative shows how coordinated efforts can accelerate the green transition. Additionally, the Nordic countries can influence global policy by participating in international forums and sharing their experiences. By advocating for supportive policies, such as feed-in tariffs and tax incentives, they can help other countries create favorable environments for green tech innovation. It's also worth noting that the Nordic region's commitment to transparency and data-driven decision-making is something other regions can adopt. ClimateView's platform, for instance, provides actionable insights that help cities make informed decisions about their climate strategies. Overall, the Nordic countries' holistic approach, innovative policies, and collaborative spirit make them a compelling model for global sustainability efforts. By inspiring and influencing other regions, they can play a significant role in driving a unified and accelerated green transition worldwide.
Given the Nordic countries' strong collaborative efforts and innovative projects, what is one thing you hope our listeners take away from this conversation about green tech in Scandinavia, and how can they apply these lessons in their own communities or countries?
One of the key takeaways I hope our listeners will grasp from this conversation is the importance of a holistic and collaborative approach to green technology and climate neutrality. The Nordic countries have shown that by working together, sharing knowledge, and implementing innovative policies, it's possible to achieve significant reductions in greenhouse gas emissions while simultaneously driving economic growth. This is something that can be applied in any community or country. For instance, local governments can adopt similar strategies by investing in renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and implementing sustainable practices like district heating systems. It's also crucial to involve various stakeholders, including businesses, research institutions, and the public, in the decision-making process to ensure a unified effort towards sustainability. In your own community, you can start by advocating for green policies, supporting local green tech initiatives, and encouraging businesses to adopt sustainable practices. Even small actions, such as promoting energy-efficient housing or supporting local renewable energy projects, can make a significant difference when done collectively. The Nordic model demonstrates that sustainability is not just an environmental issue, but also an economic opportunity. By embracing this mindset, other regions can replicate the success seen in Scandinavia and work towards a more sustainable future. So the next time you're involved in a community project or policy discussion, remember the power of collaboration and the potential for green technologies to drive both environmental protection and economic growth.
Thank you for tuning in to Chatbotcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it engaging. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update, and visit us at www.chatbotcasts.com to explore more exciting episodes. See you next time, and happy listening.